Oh man, you're one of those people that actually wants to go visit Jurassic Park if
Yes.
it was a thing. Even
Yes.
though we've seen now 6 movies where this goes terribly wrong.
Yeah, but I don't care. I'd rather go. I'd love to go to a Jurassic Park of some kind. Because the closest we can get is at Islands of Adventure in Universal Studios.
Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of the A-List Admission. As we said in our teaser, I'm Ricardo.
I'm Cheyenne.
And this is kind of like the first episode, so we didn't really want to go into the whole movies bit quite yet. We just wanted everyone to kind of get to know us, kind of,
Get a feel for how we are.
yeah, get to be able to relate a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Kind of just so that way you guys have a little bit of a basis on like why we're doing this, who we are, why you want to stick around.
Yeah, like give us, or we'll give you our vibes. Hopefully you like us. That's
Exactly.
kind of the goal. How we are off camera is kind of how we are on camera. So.
Well, kind of and kind of not. A little bit of both. But like, yeah, so the idea specifically for this episode is kind of to let everyone know who we are, right? So, do you want me to go first then?
It doesn't matter.
Sure, I'll go first.
Up to you.
All right, so like I said, I'm Ricardo. I'm 27. We're both located in Ontario, Canada. And obviously that kind of ties into the whole A part of the A-list admission.
I really liked that we did that. That was really fun.
Oh yeah. The reason why we did it, we wanted to do specifically like the A-list admission was because like it being a Canadian podcast, it being like that was kind of like the tie. But like anyway, so I've graduated university. I have a bachelor in science, but right now I'm doing trade work, trying to get a millwright apprenticeship, trying to do something that is a little bit more I don't know, economically sensible, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, even with my degree, like once COVID hit too, everything kind of just like flatlined. So
yeah, so but yeah, I guess that's a good little chunk about me. We can probably go into specifics and shit later, but yeah, go.
You know my name. I'm Cheyenne. I am 30. Yeah, also like Ricky. I also call him Ricky about 9% of the time.
Yeah, so if I say Cheyenne, Ricky's a common one, him. But I also get Rick, Richard.
Yeah. And if for any like old souls like me, I Love Lucy, so I got to marry my Ricky Ricardo, which is pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah, that nickname has surrounded my lifetime. So
like Ricky Ricardo is a big thing. Or Rick, but I like Ricky. So if you hear me say Ricky more often, it's that.
Honestly, Ricardo... more likely than not, out of the two of us, you'll probably hear Shy and Ricky more than you'll hear Ricardo and Cheyenne. Yeah,
Ricardo just sounds like I'm being mean or like I'm mad or I like full names always do that for me.
Like anyway. Some of you will more likely know me as Ricardo for all my friends and family that are watching. Yeah. But then for the other people that have known me longer will know me as Ricky more than Ricardo. So.
A little bit about me. I'm a huge Disney nut and also a huge Potterhead. And I love theme parks. We both love theme parks, obviously. Other things about me. Well, you said we could also get into specifics later, I guess, too.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, sure. Like there's not like a heck of a lot. I work as well. I have a Bachelor of Arts in English and a Bachelor of Science and Computer Programming. I was a book editor for a little bit, and then AI took over my job, so I lost that job. Now I work at another job that I absolutely love. I'm really happy with. And aside from the podcast, I just like reading, watching movies and TV, obviously. So.
Yeah, and I'm more of a visual representation kind of person, so books do not... Well, okay, I shouldn't say books do not entertain me as much, but like books...
Comics books.
Sure, but like visual mediums are much more appealing to me, so like video games I like more, movies, TV shows, like...
Which I like video games too. He definitely got me into video games because I was not a gamer at all before I knew you, so...
No, but like I'll bring 2 examples of books to movies kind of idea is like... I never read Ready Player One or The Circle or the Harry Potter books until Cheyenne introduced it. I still haven't read the Harry Potter books. That's a big flaw of mine.
That's a commitment, which I'll give you. Mine, when I read Harry Potter, I've seen the movies before, been to the Universal Studios, Wizarding World. Universal Studios is like one of my favorite resort theme parks, but I saw that before I read it too, and then COVID gave me time to read a bunch of shit, so... Um, that's why I read it, but it is a commitment in adulting life now. It's still a commitment, so I get
Yeah.
why you haven't yet.
Yeah, but like Cheyenne has read Ready Player One, Ready Player Two, The
Which you read
Circle.
those.
Yeah, but I've audio read them.
Hey, it counts for like most people audiobooks. I'm way more physical. I do have an e-reader. Thanks to Ricky, I have an e-reader. I use it for certain books, but I already own the physical book. So I have to have the physical book and then I can read it on the e-reader. Because then I'm like, oh, I still have the actual book, so this counts.
Yeah. So before we go any further on like details about us and then the rest of the podcast, you'll notice compared to the teaser, things have changed just very slightly. Our producer, who is COLLABZ Multimedia, thank you to them, has made the suggestion that we should add color to brighten it up and to change it
I
up.
really, really like it.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, so don't worry if you were thinking this far in that you needed 3D glasses. You definitely don't.
But it kind of goes with our logo, having like the whole red and blue
Yeah.
3D vibe. And yeah, thanks again to COLLABZ because they are amazing.
Yep. So if you ever wanted to check out what they do on Instagram, and they have a website, and our bios on that website as well, to give them a check out. They've done a lot. Yeah. All right. So to kind of keep going. We'll talk about us a little bit. So me and Cheyenne have been together now for 7 years, over 7 years. We've been married since 2021, which is now over 3 years.
That sounds
No, it's
like,
not
yeah,
a
like,
long
oh
time. Look,
gosh.
it's not a crazy long time, but it's one of those things where I can't believe it's been over 3 years now.
And it was during COVID, so
Yeah, we somehow got married in the middle of COVID.
yeah.
But yeah, so like for us, like me and Cheyenne have known each other, and we've also kind of worked together for a long, long time until Starbucks kind of separated that, but that's a different conversation. Like, so me and Cheyenne, we used to work at a grocery store. I worked in dairy, Cheyenne worked in bakery, and we'd talk a little bit, get to know each other a little bit, and then that's how we started dating. Cheyenne got out of the grocery store. I wanted out of the grocery store,
Yeah,
so
and
Cheyenne.
then I got into Starbucks.
Yep.
But then I also got into university, same university Ricky went to. Did my English degree there, and then in the midst of Starbucks, got the editing job, and then that shifted for me. But Ricky was able to get over to Starbucks as well.
Yeah, so maybe like a year after Cheyenne left the grocery store, went to Starbucks. I hopped over to Starbucks. A year later, like I said, stayed there for a really, really long time, and then had to switch gears after we graduated because the science stuff wasn't working out. I needed to figure out a new career, switched over to trades, and voila. Then we started fully separating from careers, and now we're back at it doing this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like how things have gone for us. Like I said, we got married in 2021. Cheyenne's father is a pastor, so it made it really easy to get ordained.
Was licensed in Canada and America, but obviously we're in Canada, so he officiated our wedding, and it was really cool because it being COVID, we had to have it like in a social bubble, so like only immediate family that we could see, and like the wedding ceremony took place in our house, and my dad was able to walk me down the aisle, which was the hallway of our house, and kind of in keeping with our movie theme, my walking down the aisle song was the theme song from Shrek called Fairy Tale specifically, but I loved that song.
Then even after that, it was Huey Lewis and the News.
It was all
Back
like
in
Tower
Time.
of
Oh my
Love,
gosh.
Back in Time. The Beach Boys, huge Beach Boys fan. So like it was all summery, like movie music-esque stuff. But he's an officiant, which was very, very helpful.
Yeah, so as you guys can tell, movies and music and all that kind of fun jazzy kind of stuff. We've been all around music theme and music. Music. I say music theme. Sorry, movie themes and movies in general. Like movies,
pop culture, pretty much, and
much.
TV.
Yeah,
but like essentially for us, I think it's why we wanted to do the podcast in general. I think for us, like just like Ricky said, movies are such a big integral part of our lives, even separate, like before we knew each other. Like I know for me personally, and I know Ricky can mention it too, but for me personally, I always went to the movie theaters, whether it was with like my parents when I was younger, or when I got older I started to have my own little like solo movie nights. getting my like popcorn, obviously at Cineplex for the Canadians. All know Cineplex. We love Cineplex
Oh,
and
and
Cine
Landmark.
Club.
We can't shade Landmark. We've been to
Landmark's
Landmark as
good too,
well.
or Famous Players, if anyone
Well, that's
remembers.
Cineplex.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying pre-names, like the oldie
Oh, sure.
retro names. But like, yeah, for me, movies were always integral for me growing up, or having my like place of solace was always at the theater.
Hmm.
And like, I know Ricky, you can
Well,
explain your
yeah.
side
So
of it
for
too.
for me, there was a lot of times where and my family have always kind of been around movies, and so um, we've watching movies all the time. Go to the theater, like me and Cheyenne go to the theater once a week before this podcast started.
Yeah.
So that's a big reason why we wanted to do the podcast too, was because we were already going to the movies once, twice,
Yeah.
on the rare
Quite
occasion, three
consistently,
times
yeah.
a week. So
And
it
we
was.
definitely had our own opinions on the movies that we saw
Oh,
anyway. So it was kind
of
of,
course, right?
yeah.
And so like that was part of the reason we're like, oh, well, we knew a couple people that are like, oh yeah, you go to the movies so often. What movie do you recommend me now? Or
Hmm.
oh, I want to stay home and watch Netflix. Is there anything on Netflix that you want to recommend? And we shoot
Yeah.
some recommendations, try to help
Uh-huh.
people out, try to give people our best share of what we think they would like
Yeah.
based on what they like, right? So
And it goes without saying, like, we own all the streaming services as well.
well,
So, at
at
least
least like
like
90% of
yeah, I
them.
was about to say like 90% for sure. So when people ask us movie reviews, or like the next big movie coming out or whatever, more often than not, we can give them an answer like that. So
Yeah.
that's always kind of nice too.
Yeah, and then things that like we for me, one of the reasons why that review kind of thing is also kind of fed into my love for movies. So, um, being able to tell somebody, "Hey, have you seen, for example, Shutter Island? Oh, there's a huge thing at the end. You better be careful. Like, just you'd love it." And seeing people's reaction when they came back and were like, "Oh, you were so right about this movie. It
Yeah,
was fantastic," is a
yeah, and it's
huge thing for me.
yeah, sorry, and it's
Yeah.
interesting to I drew a blank. It's interesting.
Yeah. One of the things you'll notice about me and Cheyenne, not intentionally, is we cut each other off a lot.
Yes,
So,
and see, we did it again.
it's okay.
Sorry.
But yeah, a lot of times it's like Cheyenne will want to say something before she forgets it, and then I will want to say something
Hmm.
before.
And I also should mention, visually, I sometimes may give off like a resting bitch face. If I'm staring at him and it looks like I want to like murder him, it's not.
Not intentional.
Or if you see me twitching my eyes, I have like
Yeah.
a twitch that I should also mention. Mental health advocate. But yeah, no, if you see twitching with my eyes or like my nose, anything like that, it's just kind of something I do, just part of me. Yeah, I deal
Yeah.
with all that kind of stuff on the daily. So if you see it, you see it.
I mean,
I don't
hey,
care.
so this is just like I said, like this
Real
this
life.
this podcast being a lot of like, hey, well, you get to know me, you guys get to know Cheyenne, and what the podcast is kind of all about. It's
Yeah.
kind of good to know, to hear all like the little things, and like for
Quirks.
Cheyenne's like her twitching eye, and
Yeah,
for
and
me, I'm really
yeah.
bad at cutting off people. I know I do this a lot with my friends, so shout out to all my friends who have definitely called me out on cutting you off. It happens a lot. But yeah, like I know I'm really bad for that, and Cheyenne will attest to that, and so.
I'm bad at it too. Like obviously, like it's
But like I mean, when we go into debating about movies we do not agree with, it's probably going to happen quite a bit, and
Ooh.
not intentionally.
yeah, and kind of like Ricky said in our teaser, the banter will happen. So
Yeah, the choo choo is for all the people that love
that was
that.
so
Oh,
funny.
the amount
It
of
was so bad, but it was so funny.
the
Like
amount of
corny.
comments I got about choo choo after that was insane.
Yeah, I'm like ready to ride that train.
No, not like that. I think that was only you that said that. Oh gosh, but
No, it was cute. I liked it. It's so quirky.
so Cheyenne and I have kind of to like bring this love of movies into this. Cheyenne brought 5 questions for me to read, or sorry, for her to read to me. She get my answer, and then she'll obviously give her answer,
Yeah.
and then same thing for me. I gave her. I have 5 questions that
Yeah.
I want to read out to her.
That's kind of why we're also looking down. There's no script. This is an unscripted show.
The only kind of quote unquote script is literally bullet points of like what we're gonna mention
And it's
next.
more to do with forgetfulness than anything.
Yeah,
It's
if
not.
you see us looking down a lot, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen at every podcast
Yeah.
because, like, for example, the point of this podcast ends. It's gonna end up being like first week of January when we release on the 7th. Stay tuned.
For this.
Is truly gonna. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm so dumb. This is gonna air the 7th. So now
Merry
that
Christmas, Happy New Year.
yeah, well,
Like,
all of it. So you're watching this on the 7th. This will be the first episode. We're releasing 2. The second one is going to be what came out the January 4th, 5th, or sorry, 3rd, 4th, 5th, that weekend. We're going to talk about what it comes out. And so that way, when we give you that recommendation, we'll be in completely different clothes. But when we give you that recommendation, you will know exactly what we think is the movie you should go watch that night, and Tuesday being the cheap night, or whatever time you have that week, whether it be the weekend after, whatever.
Yeah, or even like we'll mention probably our top movies from the previous year.
Oh, yeah.
2024.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, in the beginning of the episode.
In the beginning, it'll definitely be a current movie that's just come out. And there's a lot that we've seen preview-wise that I'm really excited for in the coming years. So it's going to be hopefully a good year for movies.
Like, one of the ones we saw recently, because we just saw, like, no spoiler, like, everyone, like, whatever. We just saw Craven this past weekend, to kind of give you context to when this came out.
Yeah.
Or when we were filming this, we just saw Craven.
Yeah,
terrible movie, but we'll get into that later.
A whole other
but we saw another trailer for Nosferatu, and that looks great.
I love those kind of movies. Oh, that's another thing we could always talk about is our like favorite kind of genres that we like to go for too.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about whatever.
I know
you have your questions. Let's get into them.
Okay.
You want to start?
Sure.
Cool.
All right. So first question.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Drum roll. What's your favorite movie and why?
I have. Can I give 2 or all-time favorite movie?
Singular.
I think you're gonna have a fun time answering this question.
Yeah, this is. I go into detail with my answer, but
So
it'll have to be singular.
So, my all-time favorite movie is gonna be Inception. And Inception to me is the movie that I think I told this to someone at a party, was like when we were talking about the podcast, was like, this is the movie that to me gave me my love, full love of movies. Like growing up, obviously you watch movies like all the Pixar movies like Toy Story and not Lion King, but like you watch Disney movies as well, like Lion King and all that stuff. And those movies I loved growing up. Sure. Didn't watch Star Wars till I was in high school, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, like Inception came out, I want to say like in the 2010s.
Yeah, I want to say it's 2010 or 11.
Yeah. So Inception to me was the first movie I remember watching and going, holy fuck, how does this, this is cool. Yeah. Like the idea that you can break a concept down from, oh yeah, we're just going into a dream. Well, what happens if we go further? Dream into a dream. Or how do we make that into like an espionage movie or like a heist movie? Yeah. Well, now you're making a heist movie about breaking into someone's mind, and like that was cool to me. And then obviously the twist, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it. I really do recommend it though. So I'll give you like a 3, 2, 1. The twist at the end when they spin the top and you don't know whether or not it's gonna fall to either like Cobb being in a dream or real was so cool to me.
What is your answer to that?
Oh, well, Christopher Nolan has said it out loud. But okay, so I always thought it was real because
prior to knowing.
So yeah, I always thought it was real. Then obviously Christopher Nolan, or not Christopher Nolan, Michael Caine said that Christopher Nolan told him that every time Michael Caine's in a scene, it's in real life. So that means the scene at the beginning, obviously when he's visiting the university, real life, that makes sense. But that means at the very end, when Michael Caine and Cobb, or Michael Caine and Leo go and see Leo's kids in that movie, means that that's all real because Michael Caine's in it.
Yeah.
So again,
so point blank.
Yeah, one of the things that I love about movies, especially like psychological thrillers or movies that make you really think. So like, obviously I'm going to mention another Christopher Nolan because he does really good at this. But like, if we talk about Interstellar, the ending of Interstellar, again, spoiler 3, 2, 1, when it goes through that black hole and he's trying to communicate with his daughter Murphy through the bookcase, and like that like weird revelation that time and space aren't linear and they're ever happening at the same time is such a cool idea. But it's one of those movies where I also have to watch like 2 or 3 times to like fully grasp.
Oh, I have to watch it at least twice. Least twice. And even with Tenet, his other movie, like
that's a brilliant movie too.
That took me 2 or 3 times to fully get it, and I was like, oh, I like.
Guys, welcome to our Christopher Nolan podcast. This is all Christopher Nolan now. No, but like, okay,
we're big fans of Christopher Nolan.
Well, I mean, okay, how is that, hot take? I don't like Oppenheimer that much. Not because
Okay,
it's
that's more the other three that we've mentioned are such a unique idea. Oppenheimer's based off a historical
yeah,
event.
but okay, then
That for me,
okay,
that's
fine.
why.
Let's talk about we can talk about Christopher Nolan another
Calm
time.
down.
I was just about to go off. I mean, Christopher Nolan has another movie coming out in I think 2 years from now, so we can always go into that
Yeah,
eventually. Or when another superhero, like another Marvel movie comes out, we can also talk about the
yeah.
Dark Knight and all that stuff. But to be honest with you, just to make this a very quick comment, Dark Knight Rises is god awful. I hate it. It's terrible compared to the other two. Like the Batman Begins is not amazing, but it's a good starting off point. Dark Knight is it's amazing. Sorry, Dark
The
Knight is amazing,
pinnacle. Yeah.
and then Dark Knight Rises. I don't know what happened, and it just falls hard.
I think it just honestly goes peak at Dark Knight, and then the other two are just down here. Like it's just
But
for me.
not all movies are like that, right? A lot of
No.
movies, the first one's the best.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and then the second one and the third one are awful. Right? Spider Man does this really well too, with like first one being good, like Batman
For which
Begins.
version?
The first, sorry, Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
The first one, like Dark Knight, sorry, like Batman Begins,
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight are amazing, and then
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3 falls off. But like Spider-Man
Yeah.
3, I still think is a better movie
Yeah.
than The Dark Knight
Spider-Man
Rises.
2 is still probably my favorite though for
Oh,
Spider-Man.
no,
But that's a whole
so,
other. So that's a whole other thing. You can explain that.
so I know there's somebody on TikTok. I'll shout them out because they have they're pretty decent movie podcast as well. The Escape Pod. There's a guy on there who's claims to be the Spider-Man guy on there. He probably is, honestly, the Spider-Man guy
On his podcast.
Yeah. But like he's also known on the internet as probably the Spider-Man guy.
Oh, okay. I've
I
never heard of him. Sorry.
I don't remember his name. I'm so sorry. I don't remember your name. But he loves Spider-Man and like is all endearing. I'm also a fucking nut for Spider-Man. I have two different tattoos. One of this is gonna be upside down, but
It's gonna be upside down.
one of Miles, one of Peter, and in their colors respectively. And I think for me, Spider-Man has been pinnacle of everything.
You also have an Inception tattoo, so
yeah, but I can't show that one. That one's a little bit higher up. It's a
yeah,
little hard to get to.
But it just goes to show that also.
Well, you want to talk about tattoos?
Okay,
Might as
I'll
well
answer my form of
Oh yeah,
question.
yeah.
now.
You should answer your question first. I'm so sorry. This is going to be tangent after tangent after tangent. But hey, it'll fill the
Hey,
time.
what else is new? Honestly, this is literally us outside of this podcast. So, anyway, kind of like what Ricky said. I have a lot of tattoos, as you can tell. A lot of colorful.
How many do you have?
Currently 35. Thank you, Tyler. Shout out to my amazing tattoo artist.
Tyler also did the logo just to
Tyler,
he's phenomenal.
At TWLube on social media, Day Tripper Tattoo, amazing artist. Yeah, he made this logo and it's absolute perfection. Yeah, done all of my amazing tattoos, but a good chunk of my tattoos are my favorite movies. So that is why he was kind of like sarcastically joking with me that I would not really have a solid answer for a singular movie because I don't.
Cheyenne at one point had a top 5 list for every genre movie.
Yeah, because genre-wise, I love a lot. I don't like romance, and I don't really like rom-coms.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that too later on. But like,
to get a gist of this, I have a lot of favorites.
What's your favorite? Okay, well, I'll make it easy.
So I'm gonna go
favorite franchise. That's not easy, but like
that's not easy. So because a lot of these are franchises.
Yeah,
Three of them are that I know of right off.
I realized that as I said that, but whatever.
I'm going to still go with James Cameron's Avatar, which I have here if you can see it. But I also really love James Cameron and Steven Spielberg. Hence, I also have Jaws and Jurassic Park. But if I have to pick a singular movie, I'm going to go with Avatar because for me, I just loved the feeling I got when I saw it in theaters. Because I don't know backstory. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I won a contest through Cineplex.
Oh no, you didn't tell me
to
this.
see Avatar. It was a scene card contest, and if you entered online, I think it was, you would win tickets, like the high end tickets. So I think at the time, I think it was only Ultra AVX.
I was gonna say Ultra AVX because now I have
the audio visual experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was for me, I think, and 2 other people. So at the time, I didn't know you. I was a lot younger. It took my parents. But no friends. So took my parents. I took my parents. We also got the free concession, so we all got 2 popcorn, or no, 3 popcorn, 3 pops. Got to see Avatar because I could pick any movie that was currently out in the theater at the time.
Okay.
So at the time, so that would give an age range, I guess. But
I have no idea when Avatar came out.
I think it was. I want to say it was 2009. Don't quote me. But anyway, got to see it in theaters. So I'd seen it briefly, like on my computer at the time, but I never really saw it in a theater. So I finally got to see it in the movie theater, and I thought it was incredible. The world that he made in Pandora is beautiful. Seeing it on a big screen is absolutely incredible. Seeing the visuals, the actors are like the fact he got so many good actors right off the gate. I'm also a big Sigourney Weaver fan. Um, she's fantastic in it. But yeah, like for me, it didn't feel the length of the movie that it was filmed because both of our favorite movies are long. To be like long for like a movie, I find
Yeah.
the runtime. But at least for both of our movies, I found that neither one felt as long, but it's because we love those movies so much.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely go with Avatar for the top favorite movie, but I have so many favorites. It's not even funny. I could list 20, but um don't have time for that. So I'm gonna go with Avatar just because I think
Okay.
it's a great movie, great direction, and the second one was also really good. And I'm curious to see like what ideas are gonna come from it, and also seeing Pandora in Animal Kingdom at Walt Disney World was amazing. So yeah, I would go with that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to be confused with, well, obviously it was very
Well, that's why I said
obvious.
James Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah,
It's
because
technically that.
Avatar: The Last Airbender is my favorite Avatar of all time.
Yeah.
But I
That's
mean, it's
TV.
phenomenal show. Favorite TV show of all time is that too. All right.
You
So,
have to ask a question first now.
do you prefer watching movies at home or at the theaters?
So it's funny. It doesn't depend on the movie or the theater or whatever. It depends on my mood and the weather. Because Canada's freaking cold in the winter. And there's some days where I'm like, oh, I really want to see this movie, but it's minus 500 outside. Like, I don't want to go outside.
Well, we're not going to deal with that when we do this podcast. We're going to
Well, we're
suffer
going to
the
the theater.
we're
That's
suffering
the
the
point. Like, we
cold
literally went
for you guys.
last night to the theater. Not obviously not the best movie like we said, but that's another can of
We
worms.
suffer for the art, guys.
I like going. If I had to pick though, I like going to the theater better. The feeling of going, I loved it more now after COVID because we couldn't go for such a for such a long amount of time during the pandemic. So when we were finally able to go back, I'm like, oh, we're back. Like it's just the feeling of sitting there, getting your concessions. Sometimes we don't get concessions. Like, you know, it just depends on our mood. Again, it's a very big mood thing for me.
Shane is all about the vibes.
I'm a definite vibe check girl. No, I'm not. Who are we freaking kidding? I'm not. But yeah, the theater is my favorite. It's just fun, and I like the idea that we can earn points. At least I'm gearing towards Cineplex more. It's not intentional. It's just that seems to be the one.
So for where we are,
Yeah,
Cineplex is more common.
is the overlord.
But I mean, so once upon a time, like we were near Niagara and in that area, and that's a Landmark is more. It's well, they kind of split. Like you can do
Yeah.
Landmark or Cineplex. We liked both. Landmark is phenomenal.
Landmark is great. Like no shade to Landmark. It's just in our current area, there's Cineplex rules all. Like there's not another.
Well, in most of Ontario, I'm pretty sure Cineplex rules all.
Yeah.
But Landmark, like, please up your game. Like, if you can get us more Landmark studios around us, please. I would love to switch it up and do something different.
Every other time, yeah. But like, so for me, it doesn't matter what theater. I just like going to the theater.
Yeah.
Like we've gone to ones in the States too.
Of
Like
course.
Regal is good. Like any theater's good. It's the idea of going to the theater, having that experience that I think so many people have drifted away from because of streaming services. Like some people I mentioned this podcast to, like old coworkers or like some friends are like, oh man, I haven't been to a theater in years. I'm like, I can't fathom that because we don't do that.
Well, fun fact, there is another TikToker I'm gonna shout out. His name is I want to say it's Pop Culture on TikTok. I think that's his channel name. Again, I don't remember the name. Or like, I know he also does he does two. But anyway, on one of them he says that if everyone went to the theater 3 times a year, the theater business would be saved.
It would be saved immediately. And that's crazy.
Whereas,
3 times.
I know. Whereas me and Cheyenne go at least 3 times a month. Right, like we said,
like once a week.
Sometimes we've gone 3 times a week, right? Like it's for us, the theater is like a second home. But for me, the thing that made me fall in love with the theater more than the at home experience is solely, the group experience when it's positive. Like I mean, we've had negative experiences going to the theater as well. I'm not gonna say we haven't, but like when we've gone to see, when I went to go see the first Avengers movie.
Mm.
and the amount of kids, that all the nerds that came out dressed up and like it was a
In on the
Comic Con.
like the pre-opening night, because I don't know
Uh,
if Landmark does that, but Cineplex does the
I think
thing where
Landmark does it too.
maybe it's a common thing now, but like it'll come out the day before the
Yeah,
opening
so like if
day.
the opening day was Friday, it would come out the Thursday.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I remember for us, well, for me, when I went to go see Avengers when I was in high school, all the nerds and geeks that dressed up and like people brought costumes and were screaming when they saw Captain America and Iron Man and Hulk and Hawkeye and Black Widow all share a screen and Thor. That was one of those moments where I'll never forget. And then when me and Cheyenne went to go see No Way Home, oh my gosh, the screaming and the
But
yelling,
also
that like
like the
visceral
complete
reaction.
silence
Oh,
where it was needed. Like people, the diehards will come on those pre-opening nights, and that's how you know it's gonna be a good experience. Is because those people know when to do the things, like whether it's clapping or
mhm.
cheering or quiet. Like you know.
It's just when there's a positive fan experience for a movie or like
Hmm.
a ramp up. I know I mentioned the MCU and like a lot of people think the MCU's ruined movies. We'll get into that eventually,
But
but
he's a big Marvel. I'm a big Marvel fan too, but he knows
yeah.
his shit. So
But well, don't Cheyenne's gonna say that I don't actually know a lot of shit. Like I'm
more than me, more than
I'm
me.
as much of a I've been around the whole Marvel fan cinematic universe since it started, which is not a lot of time. It's like 2008. But I mentioned Marvel because Marvel has the most passionate fan base. But like if
Hmm.
you got a group of people that are very excited to see a movie and you go with your like five friends or even
Hmm.
with me and Shine have gone and we've been so excited to see a movie. Like when we saw Smile 2, we were like, oh, we don't know if we're gonna like this. But it was our reactions together at the same time and stuff like that. That for us, for me, makes the theater experience that much better.
Hmm.
Like I like watching movies at home too, but I find I like rewatching movies at home versus rewatching movies at the theater, because as much as like I like the theater, the rewatch at home is way more like comfortable and relaxing. It's like
Rewatching for
yeah.
sure.
But when you want to watch that first experience, the
Hmm.
theater I think is the best way.
Okay.
All right, you're
Okay.
up for your second one.
Ooh. Okay. If you could live in any movie universe, what would it be?
Oh gosh.
I think I have mine. I'll be ready.
And the problem is like I have a couple universes that just jumped into mind.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I just thought of some more.
I'm as much as I love Spider-Man and all that, I'm gonna have to say Harry Potter.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
I
Oh,
think
that's
Harry
a
Potter.
good one.
But that being said, like I don't want to be around when like Voldemort and them are in
Like
it because like that
Deathly
I'd rather
Hallows
not
and
die.
yeah,
Mind you, I feel like in any
the war.
Marvel universe or any universe in cinematic,
Yeah. Well, like Lord of the Rings too.
Lord of the Rings, Jurassic Park,
So that's funny because that was the one I was originally gonna go
Jurassic
with,
Park.
and then I realized I also love Cat in the Hat. So
Is
that
that a universe? Or you're saying the Dr. Seuss universe?
well, it's a movie, and it has a universe
I
in
guess
itself.
so, but I fair, fine.
Yeah,
I'll give it to you.
but
So no
I
one's gonna
no no
die in
no
that
that
one.
all
That's
goes
fair.
out the window. I completely forgot about Harry Potter, so it's Harry Potter and me,
Yeah.
hands down.
I think Harry Potter is the most fun because well, quote unquote anybody can be a wizard. But like the idea of having that kind of power at the palm of your hands, like,
It's not even
insert
it's
Spider-Man 2 joke there.
but I mean
Um
it's technically England, so I mean like it's a
but
magical
no, but
England.
like in Fantastic Beasts they go to America, they go
Yeah,
to
which I wouldn't live in that universe though. I prefer the Hogwarts
we
and
just don't
Hogsmeade.
know that universe. It could be just as fun.
Yeah, I just like the
You just want
Britishy
the
vibe.
I was gonna say you
My
just want the
background is British, so.
I'm Hispanic for all of the Latinos or Latina X's or
So what is that again?
Latina X.
Yeah,
It's like
that like Gen X?
no, it's a the gender
Okay.
neutral.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
whatever.
okay,
Hi everyone. Um,
cool.
yeah, I would say Harry Potter. Harry Potter seems like the most fun.
Me
By
too.
that being
So
said, like I don't want to die, but
yeah,
having playing Quidditch seems like a lot of fun too.
yeah. Oh, it's so on the video game side of things, we have what is it, Quidditch Champions?
Yep,
We
and then
can
we also have
and Hogwarts
Hogwarts
Legacy.
Legacy.
Hence this, we're both Ravenclaws.
What
And
up?
this is the logo from the Hogwarts Legacy video game for Ravenclaw, but Ravenclaw all the way.
Yep.
Oh, your turn.
My turn. Okay. So, what's a movie that always makes you cry no matter how many times you watch it?
It's so funny because I don't okay I do more now, but I never used to really cry at anything movie. Well, not really really anything.
Cheyenne's very unemotional.
Hard-hearted is the better term, but it's not intentional. Just I have anxiety and I deal with a lot of that stuff, and like I feel like I have minor ADHD, so my brain is like, phew. Like if I'm watching a movie more at home, I try to be more attentive. Obviously, at the theater, which I am, but when I'm at home, my mind's not as focused as I'd like it to be on specific stuff. So when it comes to crying, I'm like, oh, why would you cry? Um, I'm trying to think if there's a movie that always has made me cry.
Yeah, there's got to be one movie that's
I
an
know.
immediate tearjerker. I mean, I can give you.
It's
I can give
probably a
you.
cartoon, Inside Out.
eh, Oh yeah, Inside Out we
Inside
watched
Out at
recently
the
made you
end, cried.
cry.
Uh, Wally a little bit at the beginning. A lot of Disney Pixar or Disney. Oh, Coco. That one I would say probably
Is
I
your
would
answer?
always make me cry at the end, and I more so because of because of Ricky, because of his Hispanic side. I related a lot to his abuela, so or
Yeah.
grandmother. But yeah, so that part makes me tear up a little bit more than anything I would think. Or so I'm gonna do one more Encanto.
Damn it, you
Um,
took both of my answers. Like
oh,
literally both of my answers. I was gonna say.
well, you're Hispanic. That's kind of
Yeah.
what
Well,
happened.
like that's I was just gonna start by saying sorry. There's not a British movie that makes me cry because I don't know many British movies that make
Harry
me cry.
Potter.
I was thinking like
Oh,
well I guess
Braveheart.
we're
Oh, that's Scottish.
not Scottish. I was gonna say like Mary Poppins didn't make me cry. I'm so sorry, but
Oh, if Feed the Bird scene is like
it's sad, but it didn't
bittersweet.
make me cry. Encanto made me
No.
cry in a very different way, especially
Oh, that Dos Oreguitas
well, that's the
song.
problem, right? Music gets you into that realm of you're already on the verge of crying
Yeah,
because of the movie,
yeah,
and that song takes you just a little more
yeah.
there, and
Same
then
with
just
the
go.
Inside Out theme. I swear, any of these movies, if I watched them on mute, I'd have no issues. Literally no
Yeah, I
issues.
probably would still cry. I'm a
Yeah,
stuck
he's a
though. Like,
sensitive slop.
yeah, I'm the kind of person that'll cry at a commercial that plays in the middle of a
Like,
Super
and
Bowl.
it's funny because if we're watching a movie at home, for example, this happened even last night. Um, when we're like watching something, I'll if I'm like at a different angle than him, so I can't see him even peripherally, I'll hear a noise that is him, like like
And I'm
a
trying to
sound that
hold
he's
back
trying
a
to hold
cry.
back tears or crying, and I know he's crying.
Oh yeah, we watched it was Dream Productions, right?
Oh yes, excellent show. If you're
10 out
into
of
the
10 would
Inside Out,
recommend. Well, I don't know if it's 10.
it's
I
a
would
Disney
recommend it.
Plus TV show based on the world of Inside Out. It's only 4 episodes currently. It's
And
great.
truthfully that almost made me cry.
That it did make you cry.
I didn't. I was
No
almost
Kleenex
there.
or
No.
facial
But I
tissue.
was there. I was almost there. Like 'cause that it
Okay,
was such a
that's a good
again,
show.
we're not gonna spoil that
Yeah,
one, but
good
like
show, but it is
it
a
is
show on Disney Plus.
phenomenal. Like for if you liked Inside Out and Inside Out 2, which is also an amazing movie that came out this year,
Really well
um,
done. Yeah,
please give Dream Productions a shot. It's 4 episodes, 30 minutes each. It's not a lot of commitment in it,
and
but
they're very fun.
it's such a small time frame to make you feel so
It
much.
makes a big impact for such a small show.
And it's very comedy based, so it's not even like you're realizing how much emotional
Yeah,
shit you're going through until you get there and then you watch it and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is great."
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're up,
is it
right?
my turn?
Yeah, I asked the crying one.
Ooh, who is your favorite movie character, and what do you love about them?
Should I not pick Spider-Man for this cuz I feel like Spider-Man is maybe a
No,
too
you can
much.
pick your favorite movie character.
Oh gosh.
You can do Spider
All right,
Man.
I'll pick two because Spider-Man is my go-to always for anything like this. So Miles Morales is going to be my choice for the
Oh,
Spider-Man. Um,
oh, okay. I thought that was your
not
second
no,
choice.
Miles Morales is my first.
Okay.
So Peter. So as much as I'll get into my little spider nerdum right now, but like Peter Parker is the titular character when it comes to being Spider-Man, and like every time that you think of Spider-Man, you think of Peter Parker. Peter
Hmm.
Parker is chaotically unlucky and like will always be unlucky, and no one wants to see Peter Parker happy, unfortunately. But the thing with Miles is it gives you a level of dimension that Peter won't get, and that's well, obviously the race part of it, right? But
Which is a big thing. Yeah.
him being marginalized in the sense that he's half Hispanic, half black. And then, but on top of that, then being, well, if we go by the Spider-Verse movies, which is not exactly the exact same as the comic books, but we'll go by the Spider-Verse version because everyone knows that version. Him being not mechanically the character, he's not supposed to be Spider-Man, and then having to deal with that realm of it as well in the new in across the Spider-Verse is another level of being underdogged that no one else can go through. Like Peter will always be Peter Parker through every line of any canon in Spider-Man. It's always Peter Parker. Gwen Stacy's gotten it, sure, but whatever. Miles was never supposed to get it, and for him to feel so alone and so broken down like that, it makes you love him even more.
Mm.
And I think that well, obviously he touches me in the sense of a cultural perspective.
Yeah.
Like the moments where he speaks Spanish to his mom and
Or the mom speaks to him.
yeah, or like
yeah.
the moments where I can see the Hispanic culture come out. I can't speak to the black side as much, obviously, but like the Hispanic part that comes out to me is such a close. It literally touches my heart every time I see it.
Which is great that they have that opportunity to showcase that for you, though, or for the Hispanic.
Right. But then he doesn't ever waver on any of the things that make Spider-Man Spider-Man, right? Like he still has this immense responsibility and and doesn't let go of that responsibility. He still cracks. Whoa, blah, 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 I can't think of the word.
Jokes?
Yeah, cracks wise or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like wisecracks. That's what it is. Fuck. Makes wisecracks right before he beats up everyone. So the comedy aspect is there. But then he's always trying to make sure that all of his family and friends are always taken care of for him and provide. It's just everything about Spider-Man to me has been my favorite character of all time. Now, because Spider-Man is my favorite comic book character, TV show character, whatever, right? Okay. We'll pick a different one. And my favorite movie character, another animated one, will be Tarzan.
Oh yeah,
Tarzan is my second favorite movie of all time.
Very interesting, yeah.
It's more of
a dynamic.
That one is such contrast. That one's more of an emotional thing for me because I grew up.
That one would make you cry. That would answer your other question. Maybe
it wouldn't, right? Because Phil Collins is beyond amazing in anything he does.
Song he does in that movie will make you cry.
That's not true.
Well,
anyway, okay, but Tarzan to me is my favorite character because he was kind of in the same realm, I guess, as Miles, where people just look down on him because he's just an ape man, but Jane gives him a chance and learns, right? Mm-hmm. And you get to feel what this character feels like from being the outcasted from the apes, outcasted from humans, and then being loved by both. I think it's just a brilliant story told. Yeah. And then Phil Collins absolutely aces that soundtrack.
Yeah, he's great though.
What is your favorite character of all time and why?
I'm trying to I was thinking of this answer on my arms the entire time, and I narrowed it down to 2, so because he did too. So I'm gonna bury 2 different people that my answer may change, but Nacho Libre. So Ignacio in Nacho Libre, who's Jack Black. It's based on a true story about a guy who's a priest or a monk priest. He works in an orphanage by day, and he's a luchador at night. And I think it's one of my favorite movies, obviously. But his character is just, he wants to do something to help for the greater good in the weirdest way.
In the most idiotic way possible.
And that I just love that about him. He has this optimism that he can do it, and he does
somehow, some way.
Yeah, and I love it, and I love the music. It's very kind of Hispanic-y, but it's just fun and quirky, so I love that character. My second choice was actually Dr. Hammond in Jurassic Park.
Dr. Hammond?
Yeah,
why is he your favorite character?
So I had to think about it, and I'm like, he has an eternal optimism about this park working regardless. Like he wants to make it work. He knows he thinks he knows that it's going to be a great park. Obviously, it didn't turn out as good as he wanted, but he's still like, I don't know. I love Richard Attenborough as well.
Fair,
but
fine.
For me, I don't know. I just really like him and his character because he's so proud of his project.
It's not shirtless Jeff Goldblum. Are you sure?
No. No offense, Jeff Goldblum. He's not my cup of tea, though.
Fair, but no. So the reason why I question you on the Dr. Hammond thing is he's the reason why there's dinosaurs on the mainland.
Yeah, I like the idea of the dinosaurs happening.
Oh man, you're one of those people that actually wants to go visit Jurassic Park if it was a thing. Even though we've seen now 6 movies where this goes terribly wrong.
Yeah, but I don't care. I'd love to go to a Jurassic Park of some kind. Because the closest we can get is at Islands of Adventure in Universal Studios. my favorite theme park also have that tattooed on me.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
your
my bad.
question.
Is there a movie that you didn't like at first, but later grew to love? I have an answer for both of us, but like
I Yeah, I haven't. So I don't necessarily grew to love it though. So this is tricky. A movie that
movie that you
I
didn't like
didn't
but
like
grew
at
to love.
first, but grew to love. Oh gosh. Um, I kind of almost want to say Encanto
Really,
because
you
I
didn't like
don't
it
think
at
I
first,
liked
eh?
it too much at first. Um, but I also could say that about Smile
The
because
first one,
the
right?
first Smile because I remember us watching it and we saw it in theaters. Um, Awful experience, not because of the movie, because of the audience. There was a guy with a laser pointer. There was just yelling and kids cracking jokes in the worst spots. So that was tainted for us. So we saw Smile 2, and then we rewatched Smile, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And really much appreciated it after the fact, watching it again. Not because we saw it after Smile 2, although that helped. Seeing it again definitely gave me a better feeling about that movie. But neither one of these are like I hated at first. I just that's the only two that really come to my mind.
Well, the first one that came to my mind when I thought of this question
Yeah.
was Baby Driver.
Oh my
We
goodness,
both
yeah.
hated Baby Driver. Like when it came out, we watched it in theater. We're like, "What the fuck is this movie?"
Yeah,
It
it
was
was.
awful. We were
I
like,
we thought it was trash.
we genuinely were like, "This movie has no plot. The characters are unlikable. The songs are okay." It was just everything about that movie. We left so unsatisfied from that movie.
Yeah.
Everyone around us loved it. Like, and I mean, loved it. We had all of our friends tell us we were dumb thinking that it was bad. And to the point where we gave it like, I think a month later, and we're like, all right, we'll give it another chance. Watched it again and loved it. Like,
It was
immediately loved
amazing.
it. We were like,
I think we've watched it at least two more times since
yeah,
then.
and we
It's
were,
great.
ever since we've seen it the second and third time, at least we were like, what were we thinking the first
Yeah.
time we watched it? Because we fell in love with obviously Baby and like his story of love with this woman,
Yeah, and Lily
but
James was great too. And oh my
then the
gosh,
music, John
yeah.
Hamm, Jamie Foxx, Kevin Spacey, before Kevin Spacey did
And
his
then
thing.
Ansel Elgort.
Oh man, it was just
He's
perfect. I think
like,
it was one of those movies where we literally hated, and then for whatever reason we had a whole 180
yeah,
on.
yeah.
So
That's a good
I guess
insight.
if you want to take the podcast with a grain of salt, sometimes like we're planning to do a bunch of rewatches as well as the year goes on, if in between movies that don't come out, because obviously there's
There's gonna be
52 weeks.
lulls.
There's gonna be 52 weeks in this year, and there's not 52 movies come, or there's not gonna be every weekend where a movie comes out. So in those weekends we'll rewatch something, or when we go on vacation, because eventually we'll go on vacation. Uh, we will do rewatches on those weeks, and then we'll recap everything we
Yeah.
missed, stuff like that, right? So when we do rewatches, you might hear us go, "Hey, I remember this movie, and I thought I hated it, but I love it now," or loved this movie before, and now I hate it, right? But for me personally, this is probably gonna surprise her because she probably doesn't know this. I hated Harry Potter. Hated Harry Potter. I watched the
Yeah, I don't
first.
think I know this.
I watched the first three movies with friends of mine in middle
Oh,
school,
I think I do
and
know
I
this.
could not stand it.
This is horseshit.
I thought the kids were insufferable. I thought the movies were boring. I was expecting more action kind of paced, and then I met you, and you had gone to Universal and blah blah blah. And I'm like,
Oh
okay.
yeah, yeah.
And I remember telling her at that point, I'm like, oh, have you watched them? And she said no. And I said, okay, I've watched a couple of
Yeah,
them.
I do remember.
Why don't we watch them together? I'll give it a second chance. You can like it. You can watch it to see the places in the park.
Yeah.
And then that's when I fell in love with them. And then and ever since then I fell in love with them. Maybe because Cheyenne, I was watching with Cheyenne and she had a different love for it, and I
Because
saw
you
it
could see it through my eyes, I guess.
maybe.
Yeah.
Or
Maybe.
maybe it was just genuinely I saw it again and I'm like, oh, this is
Like,
not.
what was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Your mind aged. So
Yeah, yeah. I think for me it was Harry Potter, but I remember both of us hating Baby Driver. Like those, and those ones we've 180.
If I can actually, there's one that does come to mind now for me that I didn't necessarily not like, but it's the closest one to an answer is Twilight. Those movies are trash. I know they are trash, but
They
I
get
love
worse
them.
as they go on.
They get
though.
worse. They do totally
But
get
it's
worse.
because okay. So I've told this to Cheyenne. Sorry, I cut you off.
It's okay.
You can finish your story and I'll go.
No, you
Okay.
go.
The first Twilight is so bad, it's good.
Yeah,
Like
and
it
it gets
truly is so bad.
consistently worse that it gets more addicting. The reason I switched on it more so was I read the series. The series is incredibly good. Like it's vastly different. The apples to oranges with the book and the movies, or the books and the movies.
Apparently, I've heard the author can't write though. I could be wrong. Sorry, hot take, but like whatever.
Read it during COVID, so who knows? But like even like the Midnight Sun, the newest one with like Edward's perspective, like that was really well done. Anyway, there's a lot of really good stuff in the books that I thought was great. So watching the movies again, I was more sentimental to the movies because I liked the book so much.
Fair.
Yeah.
So from that as well. So my topic on Twilight is specifically the first one is so bad, it is so funny, and it's good because it's so bad.
Yeah,
Like
and like
everything
reels
about it
and
is
memes about it,
horrific,
and
right?
yeah,
But it's so bad, it's good, and people who have seen really bad movies will understand that. But then for me, the production gets better, and like the acting gets better, but they're not so much better that they're good. They're just they get worse because they're not so comically bad,
yeah.
right? So like I don't know. I for me once after the first one is I start to lose the
Okay.
plot. But I think you're next.
Yeah. What genre of movies do you usually enjoy the most?
Oh, psychological thrillers. Thrillers are so much fun. Like going from a movie where you go at the beginning, you're like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Go through, I think it's the best. I'm also comedy and action oriented, but like if I had to pick one genre to watch the rest of my life, it'd be psychological thrillers.
I would say either that slash horror, but I also really like adventure movies. I action movies are okay for me. Like I like them, but they're not my favorite genre. I like action adventure, so like I don't know, National Treasure or ones where there's like adventure, Indiana Jones. My gosh, that whole series. Those type of adventure I like, where you go out in the wilderness or whatever and do stuff like
Sure.
that. But I really like horror movies.
Cheyenne likes horror movies more than I. So
Yes,
that
I got him into horror movies. Well,
I'm much
into, but
I'm
not
much
to.
better into them now.
Yeah.
But when I started, it was not good.
So those for sure, but I really do like psychological thrillers or psychological horrors or religious horrors, specifically religious horrors. I love religious horrors.
Oh yeah, Cheyenne's one of Cheyenne's favorite movies. I wasn't sure if I think it was the year before this one
Okay.
was
Pray for the Devil.
Pray for the Devil,
Pray for the Devil. I loved that movie.
and I thought it was okay.
And I don't, but I don't. If I rewatched it again, my feeling may go down a little. I was just so hyped by it because I hadn't seen a movie that was like that in a long period of time between it. So, yeah,
All
that
right,
was an easy enough one. Oh, am I
which
next? Or
yeah,
no?
I mean, oh
No, your turn.
yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, sorry.
All right,
Yeah.
which actor or director do you think consistently makes great movies? And we kind of talked about this, but like,
Christopher
all right,
Nolan.
try to think of an actor then,
An, oh.
because I know what I have a couple in my head.
So it depends on the person's definition of great movies as well. Because I could say Jack Black, but his movies
I mean-
aren't considered A-list all-time best movies ever. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
but it
for me,
depends on
they're
what
great.
people like, right? Because like, some people might not like School of Rock, or some people would. Some
Yeah.
people might not like Kung Fu Panda as a series, but some people might like them, right?
But
It
like I could
depends.
easily say Tom Hanks because all his movies are pretty well great, and he is pretty well great.
Says the woman who's never seen Forrest Gump.
Yeah. But you'll learn to know that a couple of like big blockbuster movies
That's
we haven't
fair.
seen, including Titanic.
Oh, the Titanic one is the one that gets people the most because
Yeah.
we haven't seen Titanic. We know what
I
happened.
know the gist. I've seen a lot of scenes, and I could
Oh my
probably piece
goodness.
together and make the whole movie.
But it's not a movie. It's funny that Cheyenne hasn't seen it because of James Cameron as well. But it's one of those movies like maybe this podcast will push us to finally see it. But there's gonna be a lot of movies that we talk about that we haven't seen. Cheyenne has also seen a lot of like old school musicals as well, and I have
Which-
not touched them, like Oklahoma and stuff like that. Continue. Sorry.
You cut me off again.
Sorry. Go
It's
go
okay.
go.
No, I was trying to think
Of an actor,
an actor because
or if you
as
can think
soon
of a
as-
different director too.
yeah, as soon as you said old school, I was like, oh, is it like Lucille Ball included? But she's more TV. She does have movies, but they're not.
I mean,
great.
we can
No
we can
offense.
add her into that if you want.
And I'll go with director. I would say James Cameron. But didn't he do Titanic?
Yeah.
So fuck me then. I'm gonna go with Steven Spielberg because I love Jaws, love Jurassic Park, and love E.T. And those three alone are worth my vote for Steven Spielberg.
All right, I'm going to go with Yeah, you know what? As much as he is probably all over the freaking TV screens right now, and maybe a little bit oversaturated, Timothy Chalamet can't do much wrong. Cheyenne doesn't agree with me with this, but
I
Wonka
don't know about
Wonka
that.
wasn't that bad. It's not his fault. I think
I
that
no, I don't blame. He did a good enough
he
job. I'm
did a
curious what he'll do for Bob Dylan
oh
coming up.
that one I'm excited to kind of see. I don't like Bob
I'm
Dylan
not
that
a
much,
huge Bob Dylan fan.
but I
I
think
like his
he's
son, Jacob
but I
Dylan's really good.
but I genuinely think he'll do a good job with that. But then Dune has been fantastic. He's been great in Dune.
Yeah, and in anything he does, he leaves his mark on in a good way.
I think
Except for Wonka, but it's how other people reacted,
I,
not his fault.
I
Yeah.
think so. I think the problem with Wonka was more that he just wasn't crazy enough.
He wasn't eccentric. Yeah,
Yeah,
like he wasn't Gene Wilder esque enough.
yeah. But like, okay,
Unfortunately.
so I think personally, if we're talking modern age, I think to me Timothy Chalamet has not made a movie that has been god awful
Yeah.
or bad enough that I'm like, oh, that's a write off.
Yeah, but like
Whereas,
great. It's that's the thing. It's great movies because I could say Pedro Pascal, but he's in a
oh,
great
well,
TV show. Gladiator 2 was okay.
you're right. Great movies.
Yeah, that's the
All
thing.
right,
That's where
all
I'm.
right. Oh, but then
That's why I might do if I had to pick an actor. Had to. I would probably still go with Tom Hanks then for a modern actor that
I
is
will
also
say,
done
okay,
older
fine. If
stuff.
we're gonna do like every movie he's touched, is I was just about to say Denzel Washington.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. We'll say Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I've been happy with Matt Damon. I haven't seen a movie that we've seen with Matt Damon that's been awful. And even the
No.
one that has been awful that we've both seen that Cheyenne loves, The
The
Great
Great
Wall.
Wall.
It is bad, but it's so
I love
good because it's
trashy
bad.
movies that not so much trash as in like Jerry Springer trash. Like
Yeah.
trash like this got a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes type trash. I kind of love those movies. So Great Wall I really liked. I know it's bad though. So yeah, anyway. I like Matt Damon. So I would say yeah, I guess Matt Damon. I don't know. We have too many answers for that question.
Okay. I think you're
So,
up.
yeah. What movie do you think is underrated or overlooked by most people?
Oh. You know what movie is completely underrated and everyone hates? And it's
I
gonna be a
don't
Disney
know.
Pixar movie, and people hate this movie.
Oh, yeah.
We just saw so me and Cheyenne for a little while have been doing a Pixar like watch through of all the Pixar movies. We saw
In order.
we saw the Good Dinosaur. Everyone who's been
Oh,
shading the Good Dinosaur,
yeah.
f all of you, like
Yeah,
fuck off. Like
literally,
it's
because
not that bad. Like it's
no,
not. I'm not gonna say it's top tier Pixar. It's not, but it's
no,
not that bad.
no, and I was expecting it. I had never watched it for the sole reason. One, well, two sole reasons then. But one, I heard it was absolute trash, and two, I heard it was really sad. Which
It's
that movie
sad, but
would
it's
probably make me cry answering that other question
yeah,
every
but
time I
it's
see it.
sad, but it's not
In a
even.
good way.
But it's not even that sad.
No, it's endearingly sad.
Sad,
Like,
sure,
but
but
it's endearingly happy then. It's heartwarming to make you emotional.
yeah, I don't. I think the Good Dinosaur is my answer because,
Yeah?
well, especially when we think of like more recent ones. I can also say like Memento is also on that list for me, but Memento
Memento? Oh,
Memento people have seen. So like I'm gonna say Good Dinosaur for movie people that have not seen the Good Dinosaur
yeah.
because people have said it's been bad.
Okay.
If you go in there thinking it's gonna be the best Pixar movie of all time, you're gonna be disappointed. But if you go in there saying, all right, I'm probably gonna see like a half decent Pixar movie, you'll like it.
Okay.
You'll genuinely like it.
Mine is easy too, but it's Sucker Punch, which I also have a
Oh, I
tattoo of
forgot about Sucker
right
Punch.
here. I literally every movie, but that one of my favorite movies. Is definitely underrated because of when it was released. I think if they released it in the last like 5 years till now, in that time frame, I feel like it would have been a lot more popular because the idea of it resonates better now than it did way back when it came out. So definitely Sucker Punch. Easy
All
enough.
right. All right. My last one.
Yeah, it's the last one.
Yeah, the last one. Then we're wrapping up
Dun,
this
dun,
first podcast, guys.
dun.
If you could have a dinner with any character from a movie, who would it be and why? This one's to me the similar answer as the other one. The what was it favorite movie character? It'd be the same for me.
Spider-Man?
Yeah. Why not?
No, you're right. I think I'm gonna go with the Cat in the Hat
All right.
because I feel like he'd be fun. I would need a fun like dinner date, but I also don't know what they'd eat. I want to know what restaurant we'd be going to before I
Green
decide.
eggs and ham. The what's the Grinch's one? The feast,
The
the
Who Hash.
who hash,
Oh,
or
maybe
the,
you should invite the
the roast
Grinch.
beast.
Roast beast. Who Hash. Oh, that's tricky. So you would pick Spider-Man?
Yeah, if this was a movie answer, I'd probably pick Spider-Man. If this was a TV show answer, Uncle Iroh is my answer.
Can Can I pick a non-human?
Yeah.
Okay, the shark in Jaws.
Yeah, they wouldn't say much. It's a
They'd eat
platypus.
me.
They don't do much.
They would eat me, so that's a
Oh,
no.
you missed that reference. I just said it's a platypus. They don't do much.
Platypi?
A lot of people. Well, you know what I mean. Sorry, we've been
Um,
also watching a lot of Phineas and Ferb recently because the
oh,
new
I should.
the
Like, we're
new
doing movies more right now, but TV shows, I would live in that universe.
oh yeah, Phineas and Ferb universe.
Or
All the
like, but at
fucking
that rate,
way.
I live in like Bob's Burgers universe.
I would also
or...
live in the Avatar universe. It's, okay.
Okay, that's all. That's a whole other episode for another day. Stay tuned.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this episode. We've been on a weird roller coaster where we probably talked in riddles and jumbles and probably fucked up enough time, whatever. But like, just know that this is kind of it. Like once we get into movies, it'll be a little bit more structured in the sense that like, hey, we know what we're going to be talking about, and then whatever we've talked about in reviews, we'll talk about later. But hey, stick around if you like who we are, and watch the second episode. It'll be out now. Yeah. Where we talk about some movies that have come out that weekend, and if not, we'll talk to you about a rewatch that we watched, and then we'll get into some movie conversations.
It's gonna be heavy.
Thank you so much for sticking around. Good luck with episode 2. Yeah, give us some feedback. Rate us 5 stars. Recommend us to your friends if you liked us.
Follow us on all socials.
Yeah, that's it.
We're on everything, including X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Threads. TikTok, Threads, Spotify. Yeah, all the things.
Yeah, we're trying to make this more available for everyone to see. Like YouTube, if you wanted to watch our pretty faces. If you haven't been watching our pretty faces, we're on YouTube, so you can watch us on YouTube. If you're already watching on YouTube, you can recommend us on anything that is Spotify or podcast related. Like us, like our video, subscribe to our video, notifications bell, all those things.
That'd be great.
Leave us a rating; it'll be very helpful.
Yeah, really appreciate
and
it.
Stay tuned, guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, bye.